A reading from the book of Exodus. In those days, in their thirst for water, the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "Why did you ever make us leave Egypt? Was it just to have us die here of thirst with our children and our livestock?" So Moses cried out to the Lord, "What shall I do with this people? A little more and they will stone me." The Lord answered Moses, "Go over there in front of the people, along with some of the elders of Israel, holding in your hand as you go the staff with which you struck the river. I will be standing there in front of you on the rock in Horeb. Strike the rock, and the water will flow from it for the people to drink." This Moses did in the presence of the elders of Israel. The place was called Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled there and tested the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord in our midst or not?" The word of the Lord.
Our first reading on this third Sunday of Lent comes from the book of Exodus. We are brought to a place called Massah and Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled among themselves and tested God. What was the type of testing that they subjected God to? They were really asking the question, is God with us? Is He in our midst? Is He traveling with us here in the wilderness, in the desert? Is He with us? This is reflected in the responsorial psalm, Psalm 95. Harden not your hearts. Where your fathers tempted me, Massah in the desert, they tested me, though they had seen my works. How did this testing come about? We find the people Israel already wandering in the desert. And they had one trial. They started experiencing thirst for water. And because of that, just like any human being, when we feel thirsty, we become grumpy, we start feeling not only physical inconvenience, but our minds are affected. And so, the people Israel, in the experience of thirst for water, started complaining to Moses. And they started doubting the good things that the Lord had done for them. They even told Moses, "Why did you lead us out of Egypt?" They started longing for Egypt, the place of slavery. Imagine, when they started experiencing thirst for water, they forgot the thirst for freedom, for liberation, the thirst for being a people, the thirst for God and God's action in their lives. In other words, the thirst for water became so supreme in them that they had forgotten the more fundamental and deeper thirst, which is the thirst for true freedom. And they were implying that it was better for them to return to Egypt rather than experience thirst in the desert. So Moses turns to God. "What will I do?" And God, look at how God responded. If I were God, and again I say, thank God I am not God, I would have said to Moses, "Let them die. Let them die. I already freed them from slavery in Egypt. I had given them new life, and now they don't appreciate that. With a little problem, lack of water, they have forgotten the many things that I have done for them. Then let them be. Let them die." But thank God, I am not God. This is the good news. God turns to this rebellious people and tells Moses, "Go ahead of them. Go to the rock that I will point to you." So Moses will lead them again. and using the staff that he had used in order to part the waters in the river so that they could cross with the same staff, the Lord will give this rebellious people water again. The Lord is overcome by mercy. The Lord is overcome by goodness. Even if this people does not appreciate, even if this people starts complaining in their forgetfulness of God's action, God is consistent in God's mercy. God still gives them what they want, water. What they need, water. We have a gracious God. Of course, we should not take the goodness of God as an excuse to keep on pressing Him and testing Him. But we marvel. God loves His people, and in their forgetfulness and rebellion, God will never forget them.